President Biden kicked off his climate policy road trip in Arizona yesterday, mistakenly calling the Grand Canyon one of the world's 9 wonders.
The Grand Canyon, one of the Earth's 9 wonders, wonders of the world. Literally, think of that. You know, it's amazing. An enduring symbol of America to the entire world. America's natural wonders are central to our heritage and our identity as a nation.
Nice to have him back from that beach vacation. And then in a rare one-on-one interview with the Weather Channel, you heard me right, our commander-in-chief appeared easily distracted as he offered up vague, indirect answers.
Are you prepared to declare a national emergency with respect to climate change?
I've already done that. We've conserved more land. We've moved into, we've rejoined the Paris Climate Accord. We've passed a $368 billion climate control facility. We're moving. It is the existential threat to humanity.
So you've already declared that national emergency?
Well, in the practice, you got a bug on you.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. So you've already declared that national emergency?
Practically speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was nice of him to swat the bug off of the reporter. Okay, so you think he would be well-versed in the weather, Harris. He spoke about the weather on 20-plus calls with Hunter Biden's business associates. But it looks like he had note cards. We have this image. It appears to be note cards in his hand for this interview, so he needed some help.
Look, the president is an octogenarian. I don't know why we have to keep making this point that he might not be at his best point right now. He just came off a respite, and he's still a little rusty. That's okay. That's how most of us would be as we get older. He's had a lot of trauma. Look, I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to figure out, in spite of it all, why Democrats don't understand that and put him up. Chris Sununu, as we know, has said, former governor, has said, oh, at 50% chance he won't even be the one for Democrats. 50% chance he will be. So what do they see? And by the way, Charlie Hurt said it best last hour. Look, we can all get confused about single-digit numbers, but you're standing in front of the Grand Canyon. Like, we happen to have one of those wonders of the world. You might want to know about the list of the other places. That one's pretty special.
It is. You know, Patrick, at first I was curious as to why he chose to do an interview with the Weather Channel on climate change. It ranks low in general public opinion among all voters. However, I think I figured it out. We can put up this poll from New York Times Siena. 64% of Democrats said they would prefer a different candidate. That's an enormous number in his own party. And then when I went over to issues most important to Democrats, number 1, guns. Number 2, this is in the Pew poll, affordability of health care. And number 3, climate change. I think he realizes he has a base problem. He has to do this to try to bring home the Democrats, something, you know, Trump won't have to do with Republicans. He's got a pretty loyal and enthusiastic base.
Yeah, and you're seeing he's going on the Weather Channel and he's talking about climate change because Democrats care about it, but also it's a national security issue. I mean, when you have gas prices that are up now 50%, or I'm sorry, 50 cents than they were just a few months ago, part of that is because refineries can't go 24 hours a day anymore because of the heat wave that's going on across America and across the globe. So that's, you have to look at the reason, the cause and effect of these policies. There is no doubt that when I look at the climate, when I look at the environment, it's a green jobs bill. We have to wean ourselves off our dependence on foreign oil. We have to be energy independent and all of the above approach. And I think we are seeing that. And when he talked about, he did pass bills, we have, with the infrastructure bill, which had some, environmental stuff in there. There's 20,000 projects, 20,000 right now going on across America, roads, bridges. In Pennsylvania and Philly, when we had the I-95 collapse that killed somebody, 10 days, that main artery in America was rebuilt.
That's because the president was there. East Palestine, Ohio didn't get that love.
Good point. And Emily, I'm going to go out on a limb and say most American voters care more in terms of national security threats about foreign powers conducting military exercises off the coast of Alaska. That's my view. I think that holds true for America. But generally speaking, do you think it's a mistake here to not focus on issues that are more important to the broader electorate and zero in on energizing the base in a Weather Channel interview?
Absolutely. It's the most out of touch, delusional approach. And to make the comment that the reason he's doing a Weather Channel interview is to meet voters where they are, while ironically meeting in Arizona, which saw historical 1,000 mostly single adult male illegal migrant surges over border day after day this week. This week, Border Patrol seized almost $100,000 worth of fentanyl on the southern border there in the Tucson sector. They also seized a ton of illegal guns. They had to conduct rescue efforts for over 200 illegal migrants. And the president is wiping a bug off a chick's shoulder? I mean, any opportunity he gets to put his hands on a woman or a child, first of all, it is so unbecoming the office of the commander-in-chief to have him sit there with his note cards, pretending to care about something that his advisors have told him to care about, when the reality is Americans care about their safety. They care about the safety of the national security, to your point, Kaylee, and they care about, yes, that heat in Arizona and all of the migrants that are in it, because of the cartels. There is so much more that our president needs to be focusing, but instead he's focusing on bugs and ice cream.
And meanwhile, comms director Ben LeBold, he said that Biden was just meeting viewers where they are and doing this.
If he wanted to meet them where they are, he should meet them at the bank. Because people are draining their 401ks at alarming rates. We've got credit card debt. I talked to Sandra Smith about this yesterday. That's over $1 trillion. The consumer debt in this country. People had paid down their credit cards during the pandemic. They're spending now because they are hurting. And let me tell you, it costs a lot more to charge a Tesla than it does to fill up your tank. So consumers are still going to the gas station. He could meet them there. When there's a heat wave in California, Governor Gavin Newsom tells people not to charge their electric vehicles because the outdated grid that is run by government-backed cartels, energy cartels, cannot support the grid for people to plug in. If leftists and greenies really wanted to make the environment cleaner, you know where they would be putting all of their energy? Instead of just blowing unicorn gas out their head holes, it would be in nuclear power. But you know what the president has just done? He's just federalized 1.1 million acres of land around the Grand Canyon where they were mining uranium to power our nuclear plants, which the left has shut down. I don't care if it's uranium. I don't care if it's thorium. If the left really wants to get serious about the climate, they should be putting all of their eggs in that basket because it is clean, it is cheap, and it is plentiful, and it is a completely dishonest conversation if we are not talking about that. So their policies kneecap us. That is the national security threat. It is not this made-up cylinder gobbledygook.
When you go to Dubai, where there is no shortage of fossil fuels, that is exactly what they will tell you that they're doing. That they would rather sell their oil at higher prices and be ready with nuclear. They're ahead of us, and that's a really tiny place, the United Emirates. Imagine what we could do.
Yeah. I remember when we were energy independent. Wasn't that nice, guys? That was just 2 short years ago.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.